Alright. Yep, our opponent is going first. Seems good. Hopefully there is no, like, lone fire. Oh, well, we don't have to worry about that now. Lone fire soul charges, some shenanigans, but not shenanigans we have to worry about today. This hand's not particularly great. Set Lindy in both traps. I mean, seems. No, I think I'm just gonna set both traps. Yeah, yeah, that seems good. Well, it seems okay. I don't like setting Emptiness and Sphere together, but I don't think we'll be in too many weird spots from here. Sec. Yeah, I think this is probably worth Veiling. Just because, I mean, like, most of them don't excavate 5. There's like this, and there's Curry Bandit. And I think Curry Bandit's a lot more juicy of a target, but I'll take what I can get. I mean, these basically, like, it seems like a -1, like, perceived -1, but it's basically a 1-for-1. This card's not going to be doing anything anytime soon now. I mean, it just got in for 100. That was its best use of this turn. My opponent just ends his turn. I'm not going to use Sphere. Seems like a trap. And then I draw another Lindy. Alright, well, we'll just attack. Yeah, we'll just keep it at that. I wonder what his hand is, where he's just like, flip this guy. Yo, you stopped it? Well, I passed my turn. Like, what? Maybe I should have used Sphere last turn. It's kind of greedy not to. But I mean, I do think there probably is just like a better spot to do it in. Like, yeah, definitely not doing it anymore. Like, once I have the Lindy on the field already, there's basically no shot of me doing it. I like the idea of just getting in for like a lot of damage. I mean, that's 29, 47. I'll put him to 19. Yeah, it seems good. I mean, you want to like, I do like just bringing their life total down so much because Soul Charge is like their best card by far. So yeah, I think I like getting in for damage. This is not the 1400. That is a different 1400. Maxi. I'll let him get the draw. Put him to 37. Maybe I shouldn't. Actually, probably just better not to, right? I mean, there's nothing in his graveyard anyways. Yeah, it's actually probably just better not to. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna end here, like this. Yeah, I think it's probably better not to. I mean, like, it's such an explosive deck, even one card can sort of unlock its hand. I think I just don't want to dig him that one card deeper. And, while the damage is significant, his graveyard is not, like, super loaded. Like, I was even hesitant to even get in for damage like this just because of the fact that his graveyard is basically nothing. Okay, I actually am like not even. It lagged a lot, but I'm like okay with this. Like, I think I just have game next turn. I'm just gonna sphere for lead and then attack over it, and then attack over it for and attack directly with marksman and this guy for game. Yep, seems about right. Yeah, we'll grab lead. And we got there. A very swift 2-0 of a matchup I perceive to be pretty terrible. But, I mean, our opponent... I mean, these are the 3 cards that he played this whole game. And these are all the cards... Well, these are all the cards that we played. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was, but I think he just... But, I mean, that's sort of the problem with Sylvans, is that the deck's pretty... I don't know, draw's pretty terrible. Well, we'll conclude the video series with this. It was a pretty nice 4-0. I mean, I guess it's another 3.5. The other guy had to quit before the 3rd game, but I thought I was a heavy favorite going into game 3, although I wasn't going first. I think post-siding, the matchup got a lot better against the Taller Knights, and it did. Game 2, I mean, it was pretty crushing, as opposed to game 1. But yeah, for a conclusion on the deck, I mean, I like it a lot, obviously. I mean, this is the deck I've had the most success with in my Yu-Gi-Oh career in terms of like just premier events. Like I've topped 2 premier events in the last year and a half or so with this deck. I top 8 at ARG Las Vegas and YCS Austin with a Mermail variant, and it's always been a favorite of mine. And I always, take a chance to test it because I mean the cards are so powerful that it's hard for this deck to never like be good in a given format. It has a lot of strengths that just other decks don't have. Just being sort of a distinct archetype, as opposed to like the generic like light or dark, which is where it was for a long time before these decks even came out. I also think this deck's it's pretty flexible against the metagame. There's not a lot that decks can floodgate against it. Besides from the usual suspects, Soul Drain, Defissure, and Macro, and only one deck actually realistically sides that, and it's not even the most popular deck. And the other 2 decks, they really can't side deck anything against you. And I think that's a pretty distinct advantage when there's 3 different decks and they're all equally represented for the most part. They're all gonna side deck for each other. So when you have a deck like this that's on the outside looking in, you can really take advantage of like a unsuspecting field with this deck, especially because it's, I mean, as evidenced, by these matches. I mean, they were all, aside from the one match against the Taller Knights, I mean, these were all pretty swift 2-0s, and they're all pretty dominating 2-0s, and it sort of showcases how powerful the deck is when someone who has a lot of reps with the deck sort of runs it. As for improvements, I obviously, from the main deck profile, I cut the Flying Seas for pulling the rug. I think pulling the rug's pretty good right now. Against like Burning Abyss, it has Tour Guide. Against the Taller Knights, it obviously has Deneb / Altair / anything in their deck when they're normal summoned. It's even good against Batterymen, especially good against Batterymen. And it's absolutely insane against those decks. I mean, being a counter trap is really good. I think after playing, I think the main deck is pretty good. I like the way it drew. I mean, it drew kind of bricky a little bit. I mean, I'm thinking about shaving the Turge. I know a lot of people have done that already, and I'm pretty close to doing it myself. I just don't really know what I would cut it for. Maybe like a 3rd Emptiness or something. Aqua Spirit wasn't great either, but it also wasn't terrible. I wish there was a way to make it more effective in your opening hand. Like, there's no way I could ever use more than one of this card ever. It's so awful opening hand, like for the most part, unless you just draw Undyne or like draw a Pike plus something. I mean, a lot of my opening hands were pretty mediocre as well if you watch all the videos. Uh, but yeah, I love this deck. I'll always love it. It's always gonna have a soft spot for me, and I'll always continue to try and remake it every single format because until they started hitting cards out of here, like they hit Gundy to 1, and that wasn't enough to stop me. I played this deck at the YCS Las Vegas too, where one of my teammates played my exact deck list and saved like a couple cards in the side deck, and he ended up just crushing the tournament. And I started off like 4-0, but ended up losing out on day 1. So yeah, I have a good amount of experience with this deck, and I hope that you guys learned something from me playing it. And maybe if you guys were sort of trying to pick up this deck, or had the opportunity to, but you didn't think it was good enough to play, trust me, it is. It's almost always good enough to play when you have someone who's playing it who has enough reps with the deck. The cards are so powerful that I think that they'll be powerful for as long as I mean, I guess the next thing that comes out. I mean, there has to be something just as good as this deck coming out. And I think even the 3 decks that are like dominating right now are not really well positioned to play against it. So I think it's a nice choice right now for a tournament. But yeah, that's the conclusion. Thank you guys for watching the series. For the next series, I'm not sure when I'll be able to get it done. I did this one kind of early because I have work for like 5 straight days. So probably in the next week I'll try and do probably like a Shadow video whenever like Patrick's list comes out. I'm interested in seeing his deck list and seeing how well it runs, and I'm excited to test it myself and sort of give my input on it and how it works. Thank you for watching, and have a great dueling, man. Just be good at dueling.